The Bible can't contradict. You're wrong. I can confidently tell you as a Christian that a lot more stuff is wrong with the Bible than you think, including quite a few contradictions. So let's take a look at a few. Let's start with the creation account. In Genesis 1 says plants, then animals, then humans, men and female simultaneously. However, for in Genesis 2, it's men, then plants, then animals, then women. Now for Noah's Ark, in this case Genesis 6 says two of every kind of creature, both male and female, and in Genesis 7 it says 7 pairs of clean animals and bride, and 2 of every unclean animal. When it comes to God's repentance, Numbers 23:19 says, God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Doth he speak and not act, as he promised not fulfill? But in Exodus 23:14 says, that the Lord relented from the disaster that he spoke of bringing on his people. Next up we have God's presence, which in Exodus 33:20 it says, you cannot see my face, for no one may see my face and live. However, in Genesis 33:30 it says, so Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been delivered. Now when it comes to God's knowledge and judgment, Jeremiah 7:31 says, God condemns the practice of child sacrificing, which I do not commit, nor do I come to my mind. But Ezekiel 20:25 says, God claims to have given statutes that were not good and rules by which they could not to live to the Israelites. And let's also keep in mind that God was all against murder, hence the one commandment. However, he tells people to commit ethnic cleansings anyway. Now God's own evil. James 1:13 says, not let one speak when he is tempted. I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But Isaiah 45:7 says, I form the light in great darkness, I make well-being in great calamity, I am the Lord who does all these things. Now when it comes to Sabbath law, Exodus 28 says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. But in Colossians 2:16 says, therefore let no one pass judgment on you in questions of food or drink, or with regard to a fast, over a new moon of the Sabbath. Now for the punishment for sin, Ezekiel 18:20 says, the soul's sins shall die, the son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father, nor the father suffer for the iniquity of the son. But in Exodus 25 says, you shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, with iniquity of the fathers of the children, to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me. When it comes to hate, Luke 14:26 says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father, mother, wife, and children, and brothers, sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. But in Matthew 19:19 says, honor your father and mother, which is part of the Ten Commandments. Now, this is just part 1 of what I'm going to say, since, well, I've only had 3 minutes for YouTube Shorts, but I will make a part 2 right away. So, anyways, my name is Henry Be sure to subscribe, or you won't see my face again. Have a good day.